I'm sitting in Mrs. Laverne's 4th grade class. I'm answering questions in a purple phonics workbook that haunts me to this day. When I hear the kid behind me, Sean Trudell, say, "Dick." And so I turn around and I open my mouth to respond, but then Joey Makar on the other side says, "I'm not the dick, you're the dick." And so I close my mouth and I turn around. I am confused. My last name is Dix. But Joey said a dick, which according to the phonics workbook means that dick is apparently a noun also, but not one that I know about. But I'm smart enough not to say anything because it does not sound like dick is a positive thing. So I decide I'm gonna wait till I get home to figure out what a dick is, but while I'm sitting there, I'm sort of having this flashback montage of all the times I've heard my name called, especially when it's a substitute teacher and they're calling attendance and they just say dicks. And some of the kids in the class laugh, and I didn't really think anything of it because I didn't know to think anything of it. I actually thought people just thought I was kind of funny. But it's occurring to me now that there might be a problem. On the bus ride home, I talked myself off this cliff because it occurs to me there's actually people in the world whose first name is Dick. Like Dick Butkus plays for the Chicago Bears, and that guy in Mary Poppins is Dick Van Dyke. Like, you don't name your baby Dick if Dick is a bad thing. So by the time the bus gets home, I've decided it's probably not going to be a problem. When I get home, I go left instead of right. I live next door to my grandparents, and my Aunt Sheila still lives at home. She's 16 years old, and she is my confidant. So I run up into the house, into her bedroom. I open the door, and before saying anything, I say, "What's a dick?" And she asks, "Why are you asking that question?" I tell him about Sean and Joey and the phonics workbook, and she says, "Sit down." She tells me that dick has at least a couple meanings. One is, it's kind of like an asshole. And I say, "Oh my God, like my name is asshole? I've been walking around with this last name?" And then she tells me it also means penis. And I go, "I'm an asshole and a penis at the same time?" And she's laughing, and I say, "It's not funny. You have the same last name." And she says, "Well, first of all, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna leave it way behind." She also points out to me that my father, her brother, is named Leslie Dix, and he goes by Les Dix. She points out to me that her brother, my uncle, is Harry Dix. Even her brother, my uncle Neil Dix, gets some shit with that last name. I will discover eventually that any verb or adjective you attach to my last name, the phonics workbook will tell you it is a bad situation. So I asked Sheila, like, what am I gonna do? And she says, "It's not gonna get any better, but it will make you stronger." And she's right a little bit. Kids start to figure out very quickly what a dick is, and my life doesn't get very good. My first choice is I'm gonna abandon my last name. I'm gonna become like Madonna. I just start putting my first name on all the papers, and I tell all my friends, my name is now just Matthew, and none of them buy it in any way whatsoever. So then I decide I'm gonna start making the jokes first. I'm gonna find the best dick jokes in the world. I'm gonna make them before they can, and I'll steal their power. And it works a little, but honestly, every time I make fun of my own last name, I sort of chip away at myself a little bit. It does not feel good. And for 2 years, I just sort of marched through life with kids just assaulting me about my last name. And so it's 6th grade, and I am at the drinking fountain outside of Mrs. Walker's English class, and I'm getting a drink when I feel a hard tap on my shoulder. And I hear Keith Ducharme say, "Hurry up, Dick." And it is the dick that broke the camel's back. I just can't do it anymore. I am out on that limb, and I turn around and I say, "Shut up!" And he says, "Make me." And so for the first time in my life, I punch someone in the face as hard as I possibly can. And Keith Ducharme drops like a sack of potatoes. It is not my finest moment. And I get in a lot of trouble in 80s terms, which means not really a lot of trouble for punching someone in the face. But it is this moment when I discover for the first time that it's the moment you start fighting for something, that is the moment you start loving that thing. Because that is the moment I decide that there is nothing wrong with my last name. And I am not going to allow a single person in this world to make fun of it without me fighting back in some way. And from that moment on, every single time someone says something about my name, I fight back. And I fall in love with my name. And today, it is the name I share with my wife, and it's the name I share with my 2 kids. It is the name on every book that I have published. And for the last 25 years as a public school teacher, I walk into classrooms and I stand in front of children, 10-year-olds, and they call me every single day Mr. Dix. And not a single one of them gives me shit about it because they all know better. And they also know that it is a name that I am proud of and that I love. Thank you.